Good morning, student. Today we will discuss about computer network. Okay. So before that one, today class contains these outlines. First we will go for introduction of computer network. Then we will go what are the different type of data flow comes under computer network. Then topology of a network. After that, the different types of network available. Then multiplexing and transmission media. Clear? So what is a network? A network is a set of nodes communicating through each other using a transmission media. Okay. So what is a network? It is the combination of nodes. And what is a node? A node may be a computer, may be a printer, may be an intermediate device, or may be a scanner. Clear? And what is the information? Which information we are going to share using the network? That may be a text file, may be a video, may be a audio or image. Clear? So just the network looks like this. This is a network where every type of connections are there, like computers are there, some printers are there, scanners are there, and also a intermediate device you can see there, hub is there, which connects all these devices. Okay. Then if we go deeper to the network, then a network can also share data between sender and receiver, two devices. So here we have two things, a sender who is going to send the data and a receiver who is going to receive the data, and those sender and receiver connected through a media. Then the sender and receiver has two different protocols. What is a protocol? Protocol is a set of rule. Protocol is a set of rule that governs the communication. Clear? Next, when a sender sends some data to the receiver, data flow in a media. Okay, how the data flow occurs, or what are the different types of flow present in a network? Generally, data flow can be categorized in three ways. Simplex. Okay, what is simplex? As you know, your CPU is connected to the monitor. The data go from your CPU to the monitor, one directional. In one word, if you say, direction of data is one directional or unidirectional. Okay, so one can be act as a sender, whereas the second device can act as a receiver only. Then half duplex. What is half duplex? Here both can be sender and receiver. This device as well as the second device both can receive as well as transmit data, but at one time one can be sender and the other can be receiver. We will go for example walkie-talkie. Do you know what is walkie-talkie? So in walkie-talkie, if one person saying, the other person should listen. Okay, both things cannot be done. Two persons can't talk at a time. So one is sender and another is receiver. For a while, if another while, the second is sender and first is receiver. Clear? So direction of data two type, but at a time one. Okay. Then the third type of data flow is known as full duplex transmission or full duplex data rate. What is that full duplex? Here bidirectional data flow as well as what simultaneously both can send the data as well as receive the data. Both can send the data as well as receive the data. So three type of data flows are there: simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Next is physical topology. What is topology of a network? Topology of a network, nothing but it defines how the network physically exists. How the network physically, if we take a view of the network, then how the network looks like. Clear? There are 4 fundamental topology of a network. How many? 4. Okay. What are the fundamental topology? Mesh topology, star topology, bus topology, and ring topology. So these are the fundamental topology of a network. And another topology is there known as hybrid topology. Hybrid topology. What is hybrid topology? More than one type of network, a combination of mesh star or combination of any type of topology is known as your hybrid topology. First we will go for this thing, then we will go for the hybrid one. What is mesh topology? Mesh topology means, suppose we have n number of computers connected using mesh topology. N number of computers connected using mesh topology, then every computer has a dedicated link to all other computers. Are you getting my point? Every computer, you can see every computer has a dedicated link to all other computers. So if I will go for the top one computer, so you have 5 computers I am taking, the top one is connected to all. So this line, the first 2 line connects the first 2 computers, then these 2 dedicated lines connect the lower 2 computers. So what is mesh topology? Every computer has a dedicated link to all other computers. So we can calculate the number of links required to connect a mesh topology. How? Now for each computer has a dedicated link to all other computers. So n computers means n minus 1 computers are there, rest computers. So one computer has to be connected to n minus 1 computer. So n minus 1, I am talking about one computer. When it is going to n computer, so n into n minus 1, so it is n into n minus 1, and if that is a full duplex transmission, then it is n into n minus 1 by 2. So here it is written there, you can say it has n into n minus 1 by 2 physical channels for n devices. This is the demerit of a mesh topology. What? The number of links required to connect the computer or nodes are very high. Clear? That's why we will go for another topology known as star topology. Known as star topology. In star topology, what happened? All the computers or all the nodes has to be connected to a single hub or to a single intermediate device, that is known as hub. Okay. In previously we are using hub for this one, now we are using switch for this connection. What will happen? Now every device has to connected to the hub. So whatever data exchange that is going to be occur between 2 devices, that should be go through that hub. Clear? Now you can see here the number of links are going to be decreased. How? Suppose we have how many computers here? 4 computers. Then we require only 4. Then we require only 4 links for communication. The demerit here is what? Here the demerit is a bottleneck problem can occur. Bottleneck problem means if the hub is going to fail, if as that is a single point of contact, if the hub is going to be fail, then the total system is going to be fail. Are you getting my point? So in our all over in our labs, whatever connection that one is, that topology is known as which topology? Star topology. Okay, a switch is there, every computer connected to that switch. Clear? Next type of topology is our bus topology. What is bus topology? Bus topology principle same as star topology, only the thing is there we are using a device, here we use a backbone cable. A backbone cable. There is a main cable, all the computers has to be connected to that main cable through their dedicated links. Through their dedicated links. You can see the figure, 4 computers are there. There is one cable that is acts as the background cable or backbone cable. Then all the computers has to connect to that backbone cable using drop lines, or their dedicated lines. Clear? So whatever data exchange will occur, that should be through the backbone cable. Clear? Generally this backbone cable is a coaxial cable. I will tell what is coaxial cable. So this is all about bus topology. Bus topology has the same demerit as the star topology. What? Now here also, if the main cable is going to be disconnected, then the communication between the networks is going to fail. Then the last type of fundamental topology is your ring topology. Why the name is ring? Because the computers or the nodes are organized in a ring manner. Ring manner, what is the ring manner? Now every computer has to connect it with its neighbor. So this computer will connect to this and this. Then the second computer connect to its neighbor. So in this way they form a ring. Suppose one computer wants to send data in a ring topology, what will happen? Now it will send the address by giving a address, and this will go, the message go through the ring. Whichever sender has that particular address, you will receive the data. Clear? Now that is our what? Topology. And I already told you, topology means how the network looks like, physical existence of a network. That is topology. Now we will go for category of networks. How many type of networks are there, and how we will categorize this network? Depending upon their distance. That means how much geographical area that network covers. That geographical area may be a campus, may be a city, may be a state, country or world. Okay, depending on the geographical area, we will categorize that network. So if we will go for this geographical area category, then we can categorize the network into three parts. Those are local area network, which is limited to 2 or 3 kilometer. Okay. Metropolitan area network, which is limited to a city, and wide area network, which may go for a state or country or all over world. Clear? So first, what is LAN? As you know, LAN stands for local area network. Generally it covers to connect computers within a campus or within a range of 2 to 3 kilometers. Like in our CIT campus, we have a own LAN, and these LANs are generally private networks. Those are private networks owned by some person or some organization. Like this LAN, our LAN, whatever we are using, that is owned by our Centurion University. Clear? Then what? LANs can provide a data speed of 100 Mbps to 10 Gbps or many more. Okay, they have provides high speed. Why? Because the geographical area is less, that's why the data rate is high. Again, generally we are using star topology for LAN network. Okay, if we have a LAN, then generally we prefer which topology? Star topology. We have two examples of LAN. You can see this is a small single LAN. Okay, only suppose within a room, or suppose your you can go for your any lab. You go for any lab, computers are connected to each other. That is a single room LAN or simple LAN. we can go for a more complex LAN. I told you hybrid topology, remember? So this is an example of hybrid topology. Here, how many topologies are involved? A ring topology is there. This is a star topology, the second one, that is a bus topology, and this is also a bus topology. So two bus topology and one ring topology, one star topology. Again they are connected to a single dedicated line, so again a bus topology. Clear? So this is a all over hybrid network. So this is another complex example of LAN. Like we have 2-3 campuses, or like hostel, we have one LAN. This main building has one LAN, that MBA building has another LAN. If they are connected to each other, then that will form a bigger LAN or complex LAN. Then what is WAN or wide area network? As the name says, wide means the range is very high. Definition says WAN provides long distance transmission of data, voice and image over large geographical area. Large means it may lead to a country, state or worldwide. Clear? This WAN provides low data transmission in comparison to LAN. Okay? Now, internet is a good example of WAN. Whatever internet we are using, it is all over the world. So this is the biggest one, and we have a figure also for that one. All over the geographical area, it may contains a continent or all over the world. Clear? Last thing is MAN. What is MAN? MAN or metropolitan area network is nothing but a special type of WAN. A special type of WAN, but it is limited to a city. Limited to a city. Generally, we are using this type of network in metro cities. Like suppose Mumbai has its own network, or Calcutta has its own network, then we will say that MAN network. Okay. This network generally designed for covering a metro city. That's why the name is metropolitan area network. Then this is all about different type of network. Then how data transmits? Okay. In a network, more than one senders are there and more than one receivers are there. Yes or no? It is not always possible that only in a network only one sender and one receiver. It is not going to happen. If it is a bigger network, then a number of senders are there, also a number of receivers are there. But the channel is one. The transmission channel is one. Okay. And who has a capable of carrying huge amount of data? Who has a capable of carrying huge amount of? So if we are going to send one data item or one sender's data at one time, then what will happen? The data rate is going to be slowed down. Yes or no? First thing, and number of senders sending the message, number of receivers receiving the message are going to be, but the time between those things are going to be high. What is the solution to this thing? If we can, what we have, suppose here 3 number of senders are there. Suppose 3 messages they will send. Suppose what we do, we combine those 3 messages into one message, then send into the channel, After that, what will happen? And at the receiver side, again we divide the combined message into 3 different individual messages and send it to the particular receivers. This thing is known as multiplexing. Combining more than one data items or signals into one composite signal, send it through the main cable, and again at the receiver side what differentiate those combination into different category. We have a here we have 3 input lines where 3 messages can come, and using a MUX. MUX is nothing but a multiplexer. Multiplexer means who will combine n number of inputs and produce one output, That output go through the channel. Another one at the receiver side, DMUX. What is the work of DMUX? Inverse of MUX. So one data item go through that DMUX and n number of data items come to the output lines. This is about multiplexing. Multiplexing can be done in 3 categories. Multiplexing can be done in 3 categories. Frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing, and time division multiplexing. Depending on the situation, we can choose any of these multiplexing technique to send or transmit the data. Clear? So what is frequency division multiplexing? This is one example of frequency division multiplexing. Suppose 3 signals are there. Data transmits using signals, yes or no? Whatever data we are sending, that is going through signal. Suppose 3 signals are there. 3 signals have different frequencies. 3 signals have different frequencies. What we will do? We combine those 3 signals. Into a composite signal. Again, at the receiver side, we decompose that composite signal into individual signals. Okay, and this combination or this multiplexing done using frequency division. Frequency division means what? What we will do? Now we will first convert the digital signal into analog signal, then modulate to them into different frequencies. After that, combine them and send it. When we are combining the signal, we provide a guard band in between the signals. What is the work of this guard band? This guard band assures that one signal not going to mix with other signal. Clear? So more than one signals, if they are going to be combined using their frequency domain, then that type of multiplexing is known as frequency division multiplexing or FDM, and the multiplexing done using guard bands. Okay. Next one is your wavelength division multiplexing. In wavelength division multiplexing, this is just same as frequency division multiplexing. Only the thing is, if the signal is not a electromagnetic signal, rather than it is a optical signal, light wave. Okay, if the signal is light wave, then we use wavelength division multiplexing. Clear? Wavelength division multiplexing is a type of frequency division multiplexing, where only frequency division multiplexing deals with electromagnetic wave, whereas wavelength division multiplexing deals with light source or optical signals. The third type of multiplexing is your time division multiplexing. What is time division multiplexing? What we do here? Here we are not dividing the total bandwidth of a channel into a link into channels. Previously what we are doing? Here we are dividing into channels, okay, according to their frequency. Like best example is your radio, FM radio. Suppose FM radio have different bands. Bands means what? Frequency. You are setting to that band means you are setting to that frequency. That means if I set the band 103.2, then that frequency can be catch by the radio. Clear? But in the air more than one frequencies are available. Whichever frequency you want, you have to set the band accordingly. So there are different channels are there. We are dividing the total lines into channels. Here what we are doing? We are not dividing the total line into channels. Rather, we are dividing the total line into slots. How? Now the total line is suppose a time domain. Suppose a time domain. So what I will do? I will provide a time slot for each line. At that time slot, that particular sender can send the message. If next time slot come, then the second sender send the message. Here in this diagram we have 4 senders and 4 receivers. Sender 1, 2, 3, 4, receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose sender 1 sending the message to receiver 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4 as usual. So sender 1 have how many slots here? 3 slots here. First it will send the data, then it will wait for its next slot. Then next slot will come, again it will send the remaining data. So for sender 1, the total channel gives 3 slots, and this thing applicable for sender 2. Sender 2 also 3 slots. You can think one is white, one is in purple and another in orange. So 3 slots for each one. Sender 1 has 3 slot, 2 has 3 slot, 3 has 3 slot and 4 has 3 slot. So in their slot they are going to send the data. They will wait for their slot. When their slot will come, they will send the data. Clear? So here we are not going to mix the signals into composite signal. We are not doing. We are sending the simple signal here. That's why what is the use of this one time double? As we are not combining the signal into a single signal, we can use this type of transmission for sending directly digital data. Previously what in frequency division multiplexing, first convert the digital signal into analog signal, then send it using the link. But here you can directly send the digital signal without converting it into analog signal. Are you getting my point? So if somebody will ask what is the difference between frequency division multiplexing and time division multiplexing? In frequency division multiplexing, first we have to convert the data to analog signal before send, but here we can directly send the data without converting into analog signal. After that, the most important thing, how the data are going to transmitted using nodes, using communication media, and the type of media depends upon the topology as well as the type of network. Okay, whatever the media are different types. I will tell which media I am going to select depends on the topology. Okay, what is the topology of the network? Again depends on the type of network, whether that is a LAN, WAN or MAN. Clear? The transmission media defined as a type of medium that can be used to carry information from a source node to the destination node. If we will define, if we will categorize transmission media, then it is broadly categorized into 2 different units. What are they? Guided and unguided. Guided means wired, unguided means wireless. Guided, again 3 types of cables: twisted pair cable, coaxial cable, fiber optical cable. Unguided, free space or air. Clear? Let us go to the deep. What is guided media? If the media has a physical existence, generally we are using a conductor for carrying the signal, then that type of media known as guided media. Okay. The first type of guided media is our twisted pair cable. Okay. What is twisted pair cable? The cables are, this is going to be a pair of cable, and the pair are going to twist each other like this diagram. Okay, each cable twisted with the other one. That's why the pair is known as twisted pair cable. Okay. If we go inside the twisted pair cable, then we see that inside that plastic cover a conductor, copper wire is there. Okay, that is the conductor which carry the signal. But among the twisted pair cable, one cable acts as a carrier. One cable acts as a carrier, the other cable acts as a protector. One cable acts as a carrier and the other cable acts as a protector. How? Now, if noise is going to be introduced to the cable, then it will affect both the carrier signal, the carrier cable, as well as the protector cable, which is free. So the receiver will take the difference between carrier cable minus the protector cable. Are you getting my point? This twisted pair cable generally used in LAN, local area network, where the distance is not more than 2 or 3 kilometers. And generally the topology used in that type of network is your bus or star topology. In bus topology, this twisted pair cable acts as a drop line, and in star topology it used to connect between hub and the node. Coaxial cable generally designed to transmit data for a longer geographical area or for a distance transmission. We are going for this coaxial cable. This coaxial cable has 4 coats. Okay. This is the first one is the plastic, the upper layer is a plastic cover, then inside that another insulator is there, then outer conductor or a seal. This is made up of metal. Again another plastic cover, at the last or the innermost side connect the carrier, content the carrier. So this inner conductor holds the data or signal. This inner conductor holds the data. Why this outer conductor? This used to what? To restrict the inner conductor from noise. Okay. If noise will come, then the noise is going to be absorbed by the outer conductor. And the inner conductor is going to be affect less. Data will be secure in comparison to the previous one, twisted pair cable, because there is only one conductor inside the cable. So this coaxial cable generally used to transmit data for a longer distance, and that's why this used in one wide area network. In wide area network we generally prefer for this coaxial cable, and in a bus topology the backbone line that made up of this coaxial cable. The last one, fiber optical cable. So differentiate to our which one, twisted pair cable and coaxial cable. This deals with light source, those are deals with electromagnetic sources. Here this deals with light source. That's why no conductor present inside the fiber optical cable. There is no conductor. Inside a fiber optical cable you don't find any conductor. It has two layers. A fiber optical cable has two layers. One is cladding, another is core. Both are made up of glass or plastic. Both are having different density value. Density, you know, density. So the density of glass or plastic is different. The core part contains low density value, whereas the clad part contains high density value. If the light source goes from a low density value to a high density value, then it is going to be refracted or reflected. Clear? Clear? This is just a principle of this. When sunlight enters into the water, when sunlight enters into the water, you can see that bends. That is known as refraction. Why? Because air has low density in comparison to water. That's why when sunlight enters from air to water, it is going to be reflected. The same principle applied here. We have a high density plastic and a low density plastic. When it comes from low density to high density, it reflects, and according to the reflection, or by this reflection, data going to be carried out. Clear? This fiber optical cable provides high data speed in comparison to our twisted pair cable and coaxial cable. Your hostel, you have a wireless connection in your hostel. Your hostel switches, those hostel switches are connected to our server room through fiber optical cable. Through fiber optical cable. Clear? Then the next category of medium is your wireless medium or unguided medium. Unguided means what? No physical existence of the line, that is free space or air. We are using air for sending data as well as receiving data. Okay. The total frequencies available in air, the total frequencies available in air can be categorized in 4 frequencies. How many frequencies? 4 frequencies. Starting from 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz, we have radio wave and microwave. We have radio wave and microwave. So these are 2 frequency values. The next frequency value is your infrared frequency, starting from 300 gigahertz to 400 terahertz. That frequency domain is known as infrared frequency. The last frequency is starting for 400 terahertz to 900 terahertz, known as light wave. So light transmits in this area, your radio signal transmits in this area, and your infrared wave transmits in between 300 gigahertz to 400 terahertz. Okay. Generally we are using this radio wave, that is from 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz for our data transmission. For our data transmission. So this is the category of medium, that is radio wave, microwave and infrared. Light sources, up to now we are not using light, up to now we haven't used light sources for transmitting data in air. For transmitting data in air, we now deals with these 3 categories: radio wave, microwave and infrared. Okay, what is radio wave? We know that from 3 kilohertz to 300 gigahertz we have radio wave and microwave, but approximately starting from 3 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz, approximately from 3 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz is the radio wave, and starting from 1 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz, that is your microwave. So radio wave between 3 kilohertz to 1 gigahertz, and using omnidirectional antennas. That is an example of that figure, is an example of omnidirectional. If you go to the radio center, you can find tall towers. Those are nothing but omnidirectional transmitters. Why the name is omnidirectional? Because you can see there the signals are in all directions. This propagates signals in all directions. That's why the name is omnidirectional transmitter. So using omnidirectional transmission, the sender sends the message and the receiver can receive a particular frequency by setting its band frequency to that particular value. Clear? So whatever your radio AM, FM, all these things, as well as your DD1, DD2, you can catch through this omnidirectional cable. Okay. Then what is microwave? Microwave have more frequency in comparison to radio wave. That's why they are not going to be used more. If they have high frequency, then what? Their penetration power is less. Penetration power means what? They can't, if they have high frequency, they cannot penetrate a wall. Are you getting my point? So suppose your sender device is inside, the receiver device is inside a room and your sender device is outside the room. Using microwave, it is difficult to communicate. I am not saying that can't communicate, but it is difficult to communicate in comparison to radio wave. Radio wave has less frequency, that's why has more penetration power. So if your TV or radio is inside your room, you also can catch the signal from a long distance. Okay. So microwaves are not used in that many ways as radio wave used, but we are dealing with microwaves in some cases, like in our war, or when the in war areas, to avoid what? This interruption. To avoid interruption, generally they talk with in microwave areas. Why? Because microwave transmits in small areas, or they are going to be transmit or sending the message in small areas in comparison to radio wave. Then last one is infrared wave. It has high frequency value in comparison to radio wave and microwave. So it is difficult to communicate between two devices if they are present in two different rooms, but it is impossible here. It is impossible here, or it can't be happen if the two devices are not in their sight, or what we are saying, short range communication. If they are not visible to each other, if the devices are not visible to each other, then we can't communicate using infrared wave. A good example is your TV remote. Your TV remote works if the TV remote is in front of the TV and there is no obstacle in between the TV and remote. Why? Because they have very high frequency and those frequency can't penetrate any obstacles. Okay. So for communicating within a room, for communicating within a room, or for communicating in short range, we are using infrared wave. Clear? Line of sight propagation. This is line of sight, means the sender, the receiver has to be visible to the sender, then we can use this wave. Okay. So these are the different parts of a network. So we will summarize this, like first we will go for what is a network, introduction, what are the contents of a network, node and protocol and links, where node can be a sender, receiver, intermediate node, link who carries the signal, and protocol who governs the communication, the set of rules who governs the communication. Then the direction of flow, we know that simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Then we go for the geographical area of a network, LAN, MAN, WAN, physical existence of network, the topology, that is your star, bus, mesh and ring. Then the hybrid one, which is the mixture of any fundamental topology. Then we will go for the multiplexer and demultiplexer, for combining more than one signal into a single unit. Then we categorize those into three parts. What? Frequency division multiplexing, wavelength division multiplexing, and time division multiplexing. Lastly, we cover about the different media used to carry the signal in a network. That is your guided media, unguided media. Guided media, three types. What are they? Twisted pair, coaxial, then fiber optical. Unguided media, again how many? Three. What are they? Radio wave, microwave. Okay. Thank you.